And that's what I'm going to try and stick to. But sometimes you get lost through a case, and then you'll see me just sort of pushing them off to the side, taking up the desk, the way I need to, just sort of making sure they have this laid out. I have them all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. If you can come in prepared with your things ready, and they say, do you want any piece of paper? No, I've got my own. Sure thing, why not?
Never come to an interview with frameworks ready.
Yeah.
Never, ever do that. I mean, yesterday I talked to one of our contacts in PwC, and he told me that he did a lot of interviews, especially for Ivy. He called them the Ivy polish. The first interview he was blown away by how polished that candidate was, and then referred to it as the Ivy machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it like a machine, just one after another, one field after another, and they all do the same. There's no personal touch. Some interviews like that, I mean, they'll be systematic, these consultants. They will go into a problem and they will solve it exactly like this. But if something goes a bit to the left or a bit to the right, can they handle it? We don't know. So, another thing, you will always be timed on interviews, always. So if you want to practice interview, time yourself or make someone time you, and have the interviewer look at the time, and at some point he will cut you off and say, you know what,
I'm running out, I have another person coming in here, let's get this over.
So we have 2 minutes, give me a recommendation. And then you say, okay, sure. And you act like you crack the case and everything is okay.
Okay, so
Good.
I've never done this before, so hope this goes well.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, if Cheryl was interviewing me, it would be better.
Okay, make stuff up.
Yes. Okay, so in this interview, I'm telling you this is I'm not gonna rattle Mark. I'm not gonna say, are you sure? This sounds like bullshit. I'm not gonna do that. Some interviews do that. Some interviews say, you know what, with this kind of attitude, you can never be a consultant. And they want to see how you function under pressure, because clients will do that. Clients will scream at you. Clients will slam the table. What the fuck is this? What are you doing? They will do that. So I'm not going to do that, but some interviewers will, and maybe in later administration we will try some of that.
Yay.
Mark, hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Your client is named the All-Clad Metal Crafters, and they're the manufacturer of cookware, food processing and preparation equipment that is sold to both households and restaurants. The HQ is in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, and they'll be selling the cookware and kitchen utensils for 50 states in the US, 250 states in the US. Along with All-Clad won the ovenware, kitchen tools, and kitchen accessories. We know that 70% of the goods that All-Clad is selling are produced and imported from China and Italy, and 30% are manufactured locally in the US. Now, they've been in this industry for a long time, over 50 years. They have a very strong brand name, and they've been enjoying remarkable growth for a long time. However, in the last 5 years, they've experienced a 1% decline in the revenues. Also, 1% decline in the earnings. So they're really concerned about this decline, and want to understand what's going on and how to address the issue. So what's going on?
Okay. I just want to recap here, just to make sure that I got all the case facts correct. Our company is called All-Clad, and they manufacture cookware. That's correct?
Correct.
Okay. I didn't really get all the different product lines.
Also, food processing and preparation manufacturing.
Okay.
Preparation and equipment, sorry.
Okay. So I'll just call it kitchenware for now, and I'll get into all the different lines in a little bit, but just want to make sure I had that. They sell to households and to restaurants.
Yes.
They're located in Pennsylvania, and they sell to 50 different states.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They've been in operation for 50 years. 70% of their goods are manufactured and imported from China and Italy.
Yes.
And 30% are from the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they've had lots of growth over the past while, but in recent years, 1% decrease in revenues and 1% decrease in profitability.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and before I move into what I'm doing for this case, I want to understand if there's anything else I should be looking at other than the revenues and profitability decline.
No, that's a main concern, and we're very concerned about that. So,
Okay.
All
All
right. So generally you ask the question, and you also ask if there is any other constraint. That's because sometimes your client may just be a subdivision of a bigger firm, which has sort of like, let's say, no matter how much your profitability goes down, it has to have a return on investment of so-and-so limit. So there might be a limitation there, or there might be, we are working on a 2-year timeline, something like that which they might specify on top of this. So that's why he's asked the question, clarifying question. And yeah, the general thing goes, you try to recap all the data that you just heard. confirm with the interviewer whether you're getting it right, and then go ahead.
Okay, what did Mark miss?
Please take the question.
Anyone? What piece of data did Mark did
Sure, I
not
think instead
reflect back
of
to me?
recent years, it was 5 years that the...
Yeah, he said recent.
He said 5 years. He said,
No,
what
he
was
said
that?
recent year, you said 5 years, I
Yeah.
think.
So he said 5 years. What did he miss?
Drop in sales and earnings.
No, he said that.
He said-
No, he said that. They had a very strong brand for the last 50 years.
Okay. All right, so I think I understand the case facts here. By the way, do they have a very strong brand?
Yeah, they have, actually, strange enough, they had a very strong brand over the last 50 years. Yes.
Okay, so I think I have a little bit of information here. I'd like to just take a few seconds just to sort of jot down my approach.
Sure.
15-20 seconds is silence that can be bearable. Anything long when you begin to say what you're trying to do. That makes sense.
So instead of saying the framework, we say approach to jot down my
Anything
approach.
along
Yes,
those
yes,
lines.
structure,
Like when you
I'd
write,
like to look at the
talk
field
about
so
what
that
you're
what
writing.
would you go into to understand this problem?
yeah, that was the framework.
Okay, so I think I have a general idea of how I want to take this.
Okay.
So you mentioned that there was a decrease in revenue and profitability.
Yes.
Now, it seems to stem from the same area. Let's say we start at profitability. Now, profitability is composed of revenue and expenses. Okay, so I want to understand a little bit about what the company's revenue was. This is going to be going into the different product lines they have, the quantity they're selling, along those lines, and then I'm going to jump into the costs. And this is determine their fixed and their variable costs, sort of understand, you know, if we're understanding profitability, it's going to be a mix of these two that's changing. Maybe our revenue has been decreasing, maybe our costs have been increasing. So these are the things I'm going to be looking for. Yeah.
So two things there. One is, even though it's a structure, he still weaves a story into it. That is, why is he asking for revenues? Why is he asking for this thing? So he gives a reasoning as to why he's chosen those two things. And you'll always have an option between either doing a market analysis or looking at the profitability. If the case explicitly states something related to profitability, then it's advised you start with profitability first. But then you tell the interviewer that you want to start with it, but then move on later into something else, the other parts of it.
Okay, so while I understand that the majority is going to be in this area, I think this is the area we're going to spend most